Good morning. Thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup. I'm Neeraj Shah. Again, a day which is not quite packed with news makers per se. A couple of them in action, but I think until the Jackson Hole Symposium outcome is known Friday evening over to the weekend, maybe the trading action would be light. Even though it's the expiry day today, reckon that the trading action would be light in India as well. Let's first take stock of the global news flow. Brent oil climbs above $100 a barrel amidst talks about the OPEC cuts, as well as a not complete conclusion about the Iran supply. Housing markets world over have entered a phase of rapid slowdown or recession. We've now seen US do that, when the expensive homes are coming off. We know that in China, property markets are an issue, and we know that in Australia, property prices are really coming off rapidly. So that is an issue as well for the world at large. For India, it's still not come in as yet. Let's see. But India's also had a phase of fairly stagnant property pricing in the last few years. So maybe it may not have that kind of an impact. Nvidia gave a very weak forecast for the current period that suggests that demand may be even worse than feared. Remember, everybody thought that chip makers will not see sunset for years, and suddenly we are seeing all of these chip makers not quite up there when it comes to forecasts. Um, Other things, India July crude oil imports are the highest in the last 3 months. Does that indicate that activity in India is doing reasonably strong? I mean, maybe that is an indication. Who knows? It's also an issue for the for the forex and otherwise, because high crude imports typically happen with higher forex outgoes. Just that in India's case, currently the Russian imports aren't as expensive as the international crude price would be. Anyways, so that's the long and short of the global roundup. What's happening in terms of the markets? The US market snapped a 3-day fall and had a brief, small bout of an uptick, if you can call it that. Futures are also marginally in the green, but the issues remain. Dollar index continues to rise and shine, 108.4. The 10-year yield is at 3.1, so that continues to march higher, and oil is higher. So that should essentially be conditions necessary, if not sufficient, to put a spanner in the wheels. But the SGX Nifty today should come up on your screen, should be showing some uptick, marginal upticks at that, about 0.5%. Let's see if we build on from there, or do we kind of stay range bound. I think some buildup of short interest in index futures is being seen. Frankly, if you look at the long short ratio as well, it's clearly evident that FIs are also taking the money off the table when it comes to index or stock futures. So that is something you should keep in mind. And I do believe that rising yields and oil have the potential to put further pressure on the markets, even though we'll start off higher. But let's wait and watch. To my mind, the pockets are very, very bottom up, very individualistic. Though if one has to look at sectors which could be in action, certainly, I mean, smaller banks, by virtue of RBL Bank news, may see a continuation of interest as well. Just watch out for that set of names. Yesterday we had RBL, IDFC First, a bunch of others actually doing well and on good volumes. And we may also see media as a pocket be active. For the last 2 days, it's been active. Yesterday, a bunch of other non-NDTV names also inched up. So watch out for that pocket. TV today. Remember, we brought you this comparison yesterday of what NDTV's valuations are at the open offer price that the Adani Group has made for it, vis-a-vis what the valuations of some of the others are. I mean, big news networks like TV Today or Television 18, or even others like Sun TV. Oh yeah, this is the one that thanks Virat for bringing this up. But NDTV at open offer price was the market cap is 1902. Actual price is even higher, by the way, and actual market cap is even higher. So the TTM or the last or the FY22 PE, which is the last 12 months PE, or the last year's PE, is much higher than 22 times as well. It's probably at 27, 28 times. Compared that, news networks like TV18 and Aaj Tak were much cheaper. So in that sense, maybe there is some merit there. If the relative argument holds true, the absolute argument, people may not like media stocks per se because they're not quite making money. And in an economic downturn years, media business does get impacted. So please be mindful of that. But yeah, watch out for smaller banks, watch out for media. Flows, ho-hum really, FIs bought marginal 23 crores, DI sold about marginal 322 crores, so nothing much out there. Stocks to watch, Bharti Airtel. Singtel will sell about 3.3% stake of Bharti Airtel to Bharti Telecom, unlock about $2.25 billion Singapore dollars. The deal, well, they've said that can happen anytime before November 23rd. Grapevine suggests it may well happen today. So you might have activity in Bharti Airtel happening at a steep discount, by the way. Um, just so the actual deal may happen at a steep discount. Don't quite know that. Remember, um, Bharti Telecom is owned by Bharti Airtel and Singtel together. So instead of Singtel directly owning whatever X% stake, they're selling off some bit of that stake. Even after this, I think Singtel will have about 10.5% stake. So it's not that they're logging out of the company, because the Bharti Telecom is a JV between Airtel and Singtel anyway. So keep that in mind. The average 12-month price target on Airtel is 870 rupees. Can you read that? Viewers, the one thing that I must say, that for the last 3 or 4 years, everybody's been talking about the telecom boom, upcoming telecom boom, ARPU's moving up, these stocks making money. I mean, look at telecom stocks the world over. They are not made money for years together. In India, the case may be different. I know there are a lot of bulls out there. I'm saying, as they say, Bhav Bhagwan che, show it to me in the price. The price is just not moving for an Airtel. That's your story. Reliance moves for a bunch of other reasons, by the way, not just the telecom business. For Airtel, the less said about Vodafone, the better. There's just no return for a minority shareholder, to be honest. Anyways, be that as it may, the average price is 870. The deal may happen at a discount today. The stock may be under pressure today. Keep that in mind. Some other stocks in news, and very low news flow day. PB Fintech is going to inject about 650 crores in Policy Bazaar. Tata Coffee prices have surged as Vietnam fuels world supply worries. Tata Coffee may tend to get impacted a bit because they may still have lower cost inventory, but the actual MRPs have actual prices may be higher now. CCL doesn't get impacted because it's just a pass through for them. So please bear in mind, CCL may react a little bit as well, but CCL fundamentally doesn't get impacted. Tata Coffee does get impacted. So do watch out for that. And PSP Projects has got a contract worth 257 crores. I doubt 257 crores of contracts make stocks move, but strange things happen these days. So I'm just bringing it to your notice. And PSP's annual inflow thus far is about 1200, 1300 crores. So in that sense, 250 is a large number for them. Maybe the stock reacts a little bit. There's some queries about forecasts for sugar stocks fraught with risks, but keep in mind that the ethanol earnings continue to be the steadying factor for these companies. And there's some talk of sugar exports up to 8 MT also being allowed. Maybe that gives a little bit of further leeway. And the new crushing season depends on how it begins. Based on the monsoons thus far, it should be a decent crushing season as well, decent crop and decent crushing season. And some of the companies have their expansion plans coming on stream in the next 6 months. One would reckon that earnings should actually grow over the next 12 to 18 months. So maybe there could be some positivity there. Let's wait and watch. Some delivery-based buying was seen in stocks like Adani Enterprises. Delivery volumes were 91% above the 30-day average. RBL Bank delivery volumes are 100% above 30-day average. Actually, even for IDFC First Bank, delivery volumes were 100% above the 30-day average. Big buying that happened in some small-sized banks, viewers, so keep them in the back of your mind. Active micro caps like Leica Labs, Nickel Adhesives, and Vinyl Chemicals. Watch out for these. Good price action, solid volume action into them. I mean, I have no idea about why these stocks would have moved. Some of these names, I like Nickel Adhesives, I heard for the first time. It's a micro cap. All of these are micro caps, so please be mindful of them. But I just saw some interesting price volume action, so thought we'll bring it to you. There's a recommendation from MK on Sun TV. They are saying that the OI was up 7.7% yesterday, and the stock is 15% up in a month. The rollovers are strong. After a brief consolidation, the stock has become bullish again, according to MK Quant, and they believe that the swing high target of 540 looks likely versus the current market price of 511. So do watch out for that. Amongst points to ponder, watch out for the Naira Energy development. Global banks and global suppliers and including HDFC Bank, are not trading with Naira Energy because it's got tie-ups with Russian or ownership of some Russian element to it, and a Russian element to the ownership, excuse me. And if indeed that were to exacerbate, then maybe there is a tailwind for some of the Indian refiners. Maybe. So yeah, do watch out for that as well. So that's the pocket. and PLI schemes being announced for toys and lab-made diamonds. So watch out for those. Watch out for NMDC. I think the Nanagar decision, plant demerger decision, uh, uh, gets done today. So that is something to watch out for as well. And lastly, let me just see if I've missed out on any stock. BEML has said that 9th September is the record date for the demerger. So that is interesting. And yeah, RBI has lifted the ban on American Express. So companies like SBI cards, who knows, may come under a little bit of pressure. So do watch out for those. Um, it's the expiry that happens today, and the new series starts tomorrow. We try and preempt what could happen in a new series through our Spaces conversation today. Two gentlemen who have a fine eye for derivatives. Abhijit Pathak of Define Edge. He looks at technicals a lot more closely these days, but he's a sharp mind on derivatives, so he joins in. And Chandan Taparia, who's from Motilal Oswal and as good a mind on FNO as anybody that I know, will be talking at 8:45 p.m. today. Viewers, mind that note the time change. Instead of 8 p.m., we're doing it at 8:45 p.m. So 8:45 to 9:15 or 9:30, we'll talk all about the September series from a derivatives perspective. So you may want to tune in for this. Thanks so much for tuning into the trade setup today. Have a safe day ahead.